Pigmentation comes in two forms. First one is sun damage. Sun damaged pigmentation is quite easy to treat as long as you have skin types 1, 2 or 3. Darker skins. Sun damaged pigmentation starts off as freckles. Freckles look quite cute when you're young and you've got a few freckles across your nose. As we age, they become larger and they start to look quite unsightly. Even with sunscreen, you still get some sun through. Sunscreen only reduces the amount of sun that you get. It doesn't stop the sun completely. So the best way to stop sun damage completely is to stay out of it. Obviously, we can't all stay out of the sun all day. So as the pigmentation develops, we can use different treatments to get rid of it. The best treatment I've found so far is IPL, or intense pulse light. The main thing with this is it's important that you have a good difference between the colour of the skin and the colour of the pigment. People think that lighter pigmentation will be easier to treat than darker pigmentation, but it's actually the other way around. When you have IPL, what will happen is the light from the machine gets absorbed by the pigment, turned into heat, and the heat helps destroy the pigment cells that are causing that excess pigment on your skin. I always say with pigmentation that the cells are drunk, that they're producing too much pigment in one particular area. And our aim with lasers, skincare, etc. is to sober them up. The lighter they are, the less light they can absorb and the less it can turn into heat. When we do treat sun damage pigmentation with IPL, what will happen is the spots turn darker, then they form like a dry skin and peel off, and the sunspot will be lighter underneath. Some ways of preventing the sun damage coming back after IPL is skincare. So using things like vitamin C, vitamin B, things with lactic acid in it, and of course sunscreen. The second type of pigmentation is hormonal pigmentation. This is a lot harder to treat, and this is really coming from the inside out. Often hormonal contraception can be a problem. Hormones such as polycystic ovary, different types of hormonal disorders can make a difference. Some people have very sensitive skin to producing pigment, so they get what's called a post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. This sort of pigmentation tends to come in patches rather than in little spots like freckles, and it often has particular patterns. So with hormonal pigmentation, it tends to form like a butterfly pattern. It will often be across the cheeks, through here, across the forehead, sometimes on the chin. With post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, it tends to be where the skin is stimulated, people produce too much pigment. So it might be around their eyes, where they rub their eyes. It could be across their upper lip, where they have waxing on the upper lip, and it's caused some sort of inflammatory response. It could even be a pimple that they've picked and it's left a brown spot. First line with this sort of pigmentation is always skincare. So using vitamin C, pigment inhibiting lotions, lactic acid washes, etc. to try and keep the skin cell turnover going. We can fade that down quite a lot. Obviously the main thing is to remove the stimulus in the first place. So if you tend to get pigment around your eyes from rubbing them, to stop rubbing them. If you're getting it across your lip from waxing, then to maybe find another way of removing the hair from the upper lip. If you're getting hormonal pigmentation, such as being on hormonal contraception, it's important to take away the hormonal contraception. Then we can use lasers and IPL and different things to help remove the pigmentation from the surface. It is a much harder process to remove hormonal pigmentation, and it's a much slower process. So you have to be patient. With all the pigment inhibiting lotions, they only work if you use them correctly. So some of them are quite expensive, and we say you have to use them every day for months before you may see a result. With all pigmentation though, the main thing, doesn't matter what caused it, whether it was the sun, inflammation, hormones, sun will make it darker.